Hi, welcome. Thanks for showing up for our self-care practice today, Self-Care Sunday. Sometimes I think it's good to remember why it is that we keep showing up for our practice. Why is it that we commit this time? Maybe just take a moment now just to ask yourself, why is it that I keep turning up for this yoga practice? What benefits am I getting? I think it's really important that we remember, especially as LGBTQ adults, that we are the hope. That's us. We're the hope for the next generation. So when those children and teenagers are worried and feel that things will never change, some of us who are maybe a bit older can have some perspective on like the history of our community and see that things will change. And that's the message of yoga too. Everything is about impermanence, and that's what the seasons remind us as well. We remember that winter becomes spring and spring becomes summer, summer becomes autumn, everything passes. But that can be really hard when things are tough and the news is tough and even the government is coming at us. It can feel really hard to hold on to that. So that's where our self-care practices come in, because our biggest resilience, our biggest protest is to keep showing up, to keep existing. It matters, you matter. It matters that you're here, that you keep showing up every day, because you are the hope. We are the hope. So let's really treating ourselves kindly and finding a nourishing practice today so that we can keep showing up every day. So I've got my 3 ginger tea, my favourite. I'm going to pop that to one side so that we can practice a hummingbird breath. So I'm just sitting up on some cushions here. Just find what works for you. I might grab a blanket actually to just treat myself. Pop on your socks if you want. So when you've got a comfortable seat, you could be lying down if you prefer. Just tune into all those contact points underneath you. Let's take an inhale together and sighing it out. Lovely. We're going to come into a hummingbird breath. So this humming breath is where it kind of vibrates inside the skull, and I can find it quite healing actually, that sensation. If you don't like it, just skip this part. That's totally cool. So it's up to you how you want to kind of close the ears. I'm going to just put my hands over. People do funny, funky things with this kind of breath, but I just really want to feel the humming vibrations. So take an inhale. Exhale to clear. Inhale to start humming. Maybe close the ears. Just keep inhaling, keep humming. Couple more rounds. Just make sure you're not bringing tension into the shoulders. Releasing the hands when you're ready. Letting those vibrations settle. Feeling a shift in your energy. One more inhale. And let it go. Nice. Just coming back into the body. So we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. I'm going to show you some options. So I often use a bolster for this, but you might not have a bolster at home, which is fine. You could use a rolled up blanket instead, like that. You could use a cushion and then getting something like a dressing gown tied, maybe like wrap over it to create the same kind of shape as this. So I'll show you with the blanket first. We're going to come to lie down and then lift the feet so that you can bring it under the back of the pelvis, under the sacrum. So you can see that's just like quite a slight lift here, but I can feel it. And I've got a nice grounding through the backs of the shoulders. And then we're just going to hang out here. It's not a kind of dynamic movement. It's more like a heaviness resting into the earth. So if that's working for you, just stay in there. I'm also going to show you with the bolster, just in case anybody's got one or's made their own. So you'll see as I lift up the feet, lift up the hips by pressing into the feet and bringing that under the back of the pelvis. It's not really on my lower back, that's my lower back. It's actually more on the back of the pelvis. And the hands can rest by the side, on the bolster, on the body. See what works for you. And I find that a really lovely, gentle opening. But if it feels too strong for you, coming back down, taking another option, maybe the blanket, finding a position that is sustainable where you can chill out for a bit, allowing everything to slow down. Perhaps you sense this opening at the heart space, opening to this idea of hope. Sometimes it's not easy to have hope. I guess that's why we practice. If we can tune into it now, maybe we'll find it easier in those tricky moments to come back to this place of hopefulness. I wonder what hope feels like in your body. I wonder what hope looks like for you today. For me, this is hope. This connection to others, knowing that we're in this together, that there are other people out there who feel the same way or similar way, maybe. People who get it, even if your journey isn't the same as mine. I think maybe you get it. Just a couple more breaths here. One more inhale. Letting it go. So I'm going to press through my feet so that I can raise the hips up and shimmy that bolster down towards my knees, my feet, and then I'm just going to roll up and over. Oh, just take a moment to arrive here. No hurry. Time for tea, always. And then we're going to come into a little rotation. So again, I'm going to show it to you on the bolster. You could just use some pillows, a couple of pillows maybe. See how your back feels. This is a rotation of the spine, so be mindful of your back body here. We're going to come on 90 degrees. So you've got this lengthways cushions or whatever you're using. We'll inhale here, and then we're going to rotate to frame the bolster, and then lowering down as we exhale. So my whole torso is coming down, my head's coming down, and my head's facing in the same direction as the knees. Might be that you want something in between the knees, like a cushion. Oh, that feels quite cozy actually, yeah. Oh, nice. And I'm just kind of hugging the bolster, but you can do whatever feels right for you. It might be that you want the head in the opposite direction to the knees. So if you turn it the opposite way, it'll create more rotation in the torso. I'm not finding that so restful today. So I'm personally going to stick this way. But you have a play around. Just honor your body. And then when you get there, perhaps you can feel the breath against the bolster. That gentle rise and fall. That sense of just taking time out while the world outside carries on. Maybe you can hear things. I can hear a dog and cars, busy life outside. But we're just pausing, finding our own little sanctuary, little haven of self-care. What a treat. Really sensing that breath in the side body, so I can feel it inflating here, but I can also feel it against the bolster underneath me. Just getting really curious about that. One more inhale. Letting it go. And slowly coming on up. Oh, nice. Let's just take a couple of cat cows here just to reset. Just flexing and extending through the spine. Yum. So we're coming on to the other side. You can either move yourself or move your bolster or your cushions, whatever you're using. So, coming side on again, 90 degrees, inhale, framing the bolster, and walking the hands down, whole torso is lowering onto the bolster, head as well, and then up to you if you want to just hang out here, maybe hug the bolster or hands further away. I'm going to grab that cushion again, bring that between the knees, just felt extra cozy. Oh, of course, you can always bring a blanket over. That's, yeah, that goes without saying, really, but yeah, nice. Oh. And then up to you if you want the head facing the same way as the knees, or if you're taking the head in the opposite direction. Just playing around. Never being afraid to adjust or move. We're moving towards stillness, but we're going to want to kind of stay in any position that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel right for our bodies. You're the best teacher, the best guide. And every time we show up on our mat, we're actually developing that relationship with ourselves so we can create that trust of that voice, hear that voice more clearly. Can you find the breath again here? Can you find that connection with yourself? How does that beam of hope feel today as a trans person, non-binary person, gender non-conforming? How does hope feel for you? Is there anyone or anywhere or anyhow that we could tap into a bit more hope? Maybe people who bring you hope, who you could invest a bit more in that relationship with. One more inhale. Letting it go. Coming on up. Slowly, slowly, head comes last. Let's take those seated cat cows again. Just to wake up. Come back to center. Lovely. And then we're setting up for our Shavasana, our resting pose. So I quite like having something under the knees. just to take the weight off the hips. And then might be you want something on your head. I mean, that is a bit chunky really as a head cushion, so I'm going to maybe go for one of these. Have a play around, see what you've got. I'm going for the blanket, so just to show you how it looks in my body when I got the bolster here. It's probably a bit high, maybe more like that. Yeah, you could have the hands here on the body or maybe out by the side, maybe a bit of space, shimmying the shoulder blades underneath you. Legs can be pretty wide if you want, whatever feels right. If you don't have anything like a support, put under your knees, even just a rolled up blanket will do, but if you don't, you can always just keep the soles of the feet on the floor if that feels more comfy. And then I'm going to get tucked up with my blanket and calm to settle. Nice. This is protest, people. This is radical. They say rest is radical. Maybe it feels like that sometimes in our busy world. Yeah. So feel into that, lean into it. How does it feel to just chill out here? Let it go. Nothing to do. No need to control the breath. We're not trying to do anything. We're just resting. Allow yourself to settle. Seeing if we can soften anywhere. Perhaps around the face, the cheeks, the eyes. Maybe you give the jaw a wiggle. Or a yawn. Or a fake yawn. And maybe you'd like to turn off the lights. Maybe you've got an eye mask that you want to grab now. And I'm going to leave you here. You can rest for as long as you like. Or maybe you want to set a timer if you've got things to do later. And literally just let yourself be here. Staying in this resting position. I'm going to push myself up and say goodbye. But please feel free to stay comfy and cozy in your resting position. Thank you so much for being here today and for being the hope that we all need. Stay cozy.